Imagine a world where people wake up every morning feeling inspired, where leaders create movements, not just businesses, and where success isn't measured by profit alone, but by impact. We live in a time of endless choices, distractions, and competition. The difference between leaders who thrive and those who fade isn't found in what they do or how they do it. It's rooted in something deeper, a driving force, a reason, a why. Today, we're going to uncover how unlocking purpose transforms leadership, business, and life itself. Most organizations and individuals know what they do. They can describe their product, their service, or their job title with ease. Some even understand how they do it, what sets them apart, their process, their differentiators. But very few can clearly articulate why they do what they do. And that's where true leadership begins. Clarity of purpose is not about making money. Profit is a result. It's not about being successful. Success is a byproduct of something deeper. Purpose, the why, is the foundation. It's the reason behind every action, every decision, every strategy. It's what fuels resilience in the face of challenges and provides direction when uncertainty clouds the path forward. When leaders lack clarity of purpose, their decisions become reactive. They chase trends. They mimic competitors. They focus on short-term gains without a clear understanding of where they are going. They become distracted by what's urgent rather than what's important. Without a strong why, organizations fall into the trap of constant reinvention, always shifting direction, always looking for the next big thing, yet never building anything truly meaningful or lasting. But when leaders and organizations are clear on their purpose, everything changes. Decision-making becomes easier because choices are filtered through the lens of why. The right customers, employees, and partners naturally gravitate toward them, not because of aggressive marketing or clever strategies, but because they believe in the mission. Purpose acts as a magnet, attracting those who share the same values and vision. Clarity of purpose also creates consistency. When an organization or leader has a defined why, their message remains unwavering, even as products evolve, markets shift, and industries change. Apple, for example, has created countless different products over the years: computers, phones, music players, tablets. But their core purpose has remained the same: challenging the status quo and thinking differently. That clarity is why their audience remains loyal, even when competitors offer similar or even superior products. On a personal level, clarity of purpose brings fulfillment. Many people spend their lives chasing external markers of success, titles, salaries, recognition, only to find themselves feeling empty despite achieving them. The reason is simple. Without purpose, accomplishments feel hollow. When we are driven by something greater than ourselves, work stops feeling like a burden and becomes a calling. Purpose-driven leaders create cultures of meaning and belonging. In organizations, employees don't just show up to collect a paycheck. They come to work because they are part of something bigger than themselves. They feel connected to the mission, and that sense of belonging fuels motivation, creativity, and commitment. Companies with a clear why experience higher engagement, lower turnover, and stronger performance, not because they offer the best salaries or perks, but because people want to be there. In times of crisis, clarity of purpose is what sustains us. It provides the anchor when everything else feels uncertain. It reminds us why we started, why we continue, and why the struggle is worth it. Leaders who communicate their why instill confidence in those around them, creating stability even in the most unstable times. Organizations that fail to define their purpose often resort to external motivators, discounts, promotions, aggressive sales tactics to keep people engaged. But these are temporary fixes. They may drive short-term results, but they don't create lasting loyalty. When the discounts disappear, so do the customers. When the incentives run out, so does the motivation. The only thing that truly sustains engagement over the long term is a compelling why. Clarity of purpose is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. It is the foundation of great leadership, strong organizations, and meaningful lives. When we are clear on our why, we stop chasing success and start building something that matters. Every day, we are bombarded with messages trying to get us to act, limited time offers, pressure tactics, reward programs, and fear-based messaging. These strategies work, but only for a moment. They drive short-term action, not long-term loyalty. This is the difference between manipulation and inspiration. Manipulation is the default strategy for most businesses, leaders, and organizations. It's quick, it's measurable, and it often delivers immediate results. A discount increases sales, a fear-driven marketing campaign gets people's attention, a competition between employees might push productivity for the quarter. But what happens when the discount ends, when the fear fades, when the external pressure is gone? The motivation disappears, the behavior stops, and the cycle starts all over again, requiring yet another tactic, another incentive, another push. Leaders who rely on manipulation to drive action create environments where people comply rather than commit. Employees do their jobs, but they don't give their best. Customers buy a product, but they don't develop loyalty. Teams hit their targets, but they don't feel fulfilled. Manipulation forces people to act in the moment, but it does nothing to create deep, lasting connections. Inspiration, on the other hand, taps into something far more powerful: belief. When people are inspired, they don't act because they have to, they act because they want to. They feel emotionally connected to a purpose, a vision, a cause. They don't need to be convinced to follow a leader or buy from a company. They choose to because they believe in what that leader or company stands for. The most influential leaders in history did not manipulate people into following them. They didn't offer incentives, discounts, or promotions. They spoke about something bigger than themselves. They shared a vision so compelling, so clear, that people felt drawn to be part of it. They created movements, not transactions. Think about the difference between a company that constantly offers discounts to get customers and one that builds a brand people admire. The discount-driven company may see an initial spike in sales, but customers will always be looking for the next deal. The moment a competitor offers a lower price, loyalty disappears. But a company that stands for something greater, whether it's innovation, sustainability, or empowering people, creates an emotional connection. Customers don't just buy a product, they buy into a belief. The same principle applies in leadership. A boss who relies on fear to motivate employees may see results in the short term, but that fear breeds resentment, stress, and eventual burnout. Employees do just enough to avoid punishment, but they don't go beyond expectations. Contrast that with a leader who inspires by setting a vision, giving people a sense of purpose, and making them feel valued. That kind of leadership creates environments where people want to contribute, where they give their best, not because they have to, but because they believe in the mission. Inspiration creates loyalty, manipulation creates dependence. Inspired employees stay with a company because they believe in its purpose. Manipulated employees stay because they're afraid to leave or because they're temporarily incentivized. Inspired customers advocate for a brand because they align with its values. Manipulated customers buy because of a promotion, but will leave when a better deal comes along. People don't wake up in the morning excited to be manipulated. No one wants to be pressured, tricked, or coerced into action. What we crave is meaning. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We want to believe that what we do matters. True leadership is about creating that belief. It's about communicating a vision so compelling that people naturally want to be part of it. It's about making people feel like they belong, not because they were lured in, but because they see themselves in the mission. It's the difference between pushing people toward an action and drawing them toward a purpose. From the moment we are born, we seek connection. It's hardwired into us. We gravitate toward people who make us feel safe, understood, and valued. This fundamental need for belonging doesn't disappear when we enter the workplace or join a company. It becomes even more important. People don't just want a job, they want to be part of something. They don't just buy a product, they buy into a community. They don't just follow a leader, they follow a cause they believe in. And when they feel like they belong, they don't just participate, they invest themselves fully. Belonging is about more than inclusion. It's about identity. It's about knowing that you are in a place where you are not just accepted, but where your presence matters, where your contributions mean something, where your values align with the group's purpose. This is why great companies, strong teams, and lasting movements are not just built on what they do, but on the shared beliefs that bring people together. Think about the brands that people are fiercely loyal to. It's not just because of the quality of their products. It's because they stand for something that people identify with. Harley-Davidson doesn't just sell motorcycles. It represents a way of life, a sense of freedom, a rebellion against the ordinary. Their customers don't just ride bikes. They wear the brand, they form communities, they connect with others who share their passion. It's not about transportation, it's about belonging. The same is true in leadership. The best leaders don't just manage teams, they create cultures. They cultivate environments where people feel valued, where their ideas are heard, where they know they are part of something bigger than themselves. And when people feel that deep sense of connection, they don't just show up for work, they show up with purpose, energy, and commitment. The power of belonging is evident in history's most influential movements. Social movements, revolutions, and cultural shifts don't happen because people were told what to do. They happened because people found a cause that resonated with them, a community that gave them a sense of identity, and a leader who made them feel seen. It's why millions of people have marched for change, sacrificed for a belief, or dedicated their lives to a mission. They weren't following orders, they were following a purpose they deeply connected with. In organizations, the feeling of belonging can make the difference between an engaged workforce and a disengaged one. When employees feel like they are just a number, they give only what's required. But when they feel part of a mission, they go above and beyond, not because they have to, but because they want to. They take ownership, they bring creativity, they collaborate more openly. Companies that foster belonging outperform those that don't. The studies have shown that employees who feel like they belong are more productive, more loyal, and more willing to contribute ideas. They are less likely to leave, less likely to burn out, and more likely to find fulfillment in their work. This isn't because of salary or benefits, it's because of something far deeper. They feel connected. They feel like they matter. But belonging isn't something that happens automatically. It has to be nurtured. It's built through trust, communication, and shared values. It's built when leaders take the time to listen, when organizations prioritize culture over profit, when brands stand for something beyond their products. It's built when people feel like they are not just employees, customers, or followers, but an essential part of something meaningful. Leaders who understand the power of belonging don't just attract followers, they create communities. They don't just build businesses, they build movements. They don't just inspire action, they inspire loyalty, dedication, and passion. Because at the end of the day, people don't commit to companies or products, they commit to people. They commit to values, they commit to a why that feels like home. In a world obsessed with immediate results, short-term gains often take priority over long-term impact. Businesses focus on quarterly earnings, leaders chase quick wins, and individuals seek instant gratification. But the most enduring success, whether in leadership, business, or life, comes from those who prioritize the future over the fleeting. Short-term thinking is easy. It's measurable, tangible, and often provides a quick dopamine hit. A company can boost sales with a temporary discount. A leader can push employees harder to meet an urgent deadline. A brand can chase viral trends to gain momentary attention. And while these strategies might create an immediate spike in numbers, they rarely build anything that lasts. The danger of short-term thinking is that it creates a cycle of dependency. Businesses that rely on constant promotions train their customers to wait for the next discount rather than develop true loyalty. Leaders who focus only on results without considering culture create burnout and disengagement. Organizations that react to trends rather than establish a long-term vision become inconsistent, making it difficult for employees, customers, and investors to trust their direction. Long-term impact, on the other hand, is built on vision, patience, and consistency. It requires leaders who understand that true success is not about what happens today, but about what is being built for tomorrow. It's about playing the infinite game, one where the goal is not just to win a round, but to stay in the game for as long as possible. Consider some of the most influential companies in history. The ones that have stood the test of time didn't just chase quick profits. They committed to a purpose, a philosophy, a long-term mission. They invested in people, in innovation, in relationships. The same principle applies to leadership. Leaders who focus only on immediate results might get compliance, but they won't earn commitment. They may drive short-term performance, but they won't create lasting loyalty. A leader who prioritizes long-term impact, invests in people, nurtures trust, and builds a culture that sustains itself beyond any single moment of success. Building something that lasts requires making difficult decisions, decisions that may not always show immediate benefits. It requires choosing quality over speed, relationships over transactions, principles over convenience. It means resisting the temptation to cut corners, to follow the crowd, to take the easy road. It means understanding that true influence isn't built overnight, it's built through consistency, integrity, and a relentless commitment to a larger vision. The greatest leaders, businesses, and movements in history were not built on short-term tactics. They were built on long-term purpose. They were built by people who understood that impact is not measured by what happens today, but by the legacy left behind for years to come. In a world obsessed with immediate results, it's easy to fall into the trap of short-term thinking. Companies chase quarterly earnings, leaders focus on quick wins, and individuals seek instant gratification. But the most successful and enduring leaders, businesses, and movements understand that real impact isn't measured in days, weeks, or even years. It's built over decades. Short-term gains might offer a temporary boost, but they rarely lead to lasting success. Organizations that prioritize short-term metrics, like cutting costs at the expense of employee well-being, chasing revenue without building customer loyalty, or expanding rapidly without a strong foundation, may see immediate results, but they often struggle to sustain them. Eventually, cracks begin to show, employees become disengaged, customers lose trust, and the organization finds itself constantly reacting rather than leading. Long-term impact requires patience, vision, and discipline. It means making decisions today that may not pay off immediately, but will create lasting value. It's about planting seeds that will grow into something far greater over time. The best leaders understand this. They don't just think about the next quarter, they think about the next generation. They don't just ask, what will make us successful now? They ask, what will make us relevant in the future? Consider the difference between companies that are built for the long run and those that are driven by short-term results. There are businesses that focus on selling as much as possible today using aggressive tactics and deep discounts, but without a long-term strategy. They may drive sales temporarily, but the moment the discounts disappear, so do the customers. Then there are companies that focus on building relationships, trust, and loyalty. They invest in quality, innovation, and customer experience. Their growth may be slower at first, but over time they build a reputation that keeps people coming back, regardless of price. The same principle applies to leadership. A leader who is focused only on short-term wins might push their team hard, demand results, and implement policies that create immediate efficiency. But if that leadership is built on fear, pressure, or burnout, it won't last. Employees will disengage, morale will suffer, and turnover will increase. A leader who plays the long game, however, focuses on culture, trust, and development. They invest in their people, knowing that growth takes time. They build a team that is not only productive today, but will continue to thrive in the years to come. History is filled with examples of leaders and organizations that chose long-term impact over short-term gains. Those that invested in people, stayed true to their values, and refused to cut corners in pursuit of temporary success are the ones that stand the test of time. It's why certain brands have loyal customers for generations while others fade away. It's why some leaders are remembered long after they're gone, while others are quickly forgotten. Playing the long game requires resilience. There will always be pressure to deliver quick results, to take shortcuts, to chase what is easy instead of what is right. But those who resist that temptation and stay focused on their greater purpose will create something far more valuable than short-term success. They will create a legacy. At the heart of every great leader, every enduring organization, and every meaningful movement is a clear and unwavering why. It is the foundation that drives action, inspires loyalty, and creates impact far beyond the present moment. Clarity of purpose ensures that decisions align with values, fostering trust and authenticity. The power of belonging builds strong cultures where people don't just participate, they commit. Long-term impact over short-term gains allows leaders and businesses to create lasting influence rather than fleeting success. And inspiration, not manipulation, is what turns followers into believers. Leadership is not about titles or authority. It's about the ability to create an environment where people feel connected, valued, and driven by something bigger than themselves. The most successful leaders and organizations don't just chase success. They build legacies. They don't just react to change, they shape the future. They don't measure their worth in quarterly results, but in the lives they touch and the difference they make. The question then is not whether we will lead, but how we will lead. Will we focus on short-term wins or long-term impact? Will we manipulate or inspire? Will we seek transactions or build movements? The choice is ours. But those who lead with clarity, purpose, and vision will not only succeed, they will leave a mark that lasts far beyond their time.